If you want to maintain the speed, you buy a wheelchair and you just race her down the hall.
And it looked like I was a gymnast in a horrible way.
That doesn't make any sense.
Everybody talks about those Freedom Mom Perry bottles, the thing that squirts the water up you while you're peeing. I did not like mine. What is going on, friends? Welcome back to the Level 1 Parenting Podcast. Now let's just get, what do you say, the elephant out of the room? Or let's talk about the elephant in the room? Okay.
It's Christmas. We got the sweater, we got the tree, we got the small people.
They're snowmen.
They're...
Label them who they are, babe.
Yes, they're snowmen. And they're wood.
They
so
cute.
they're not even snow. They're woodmen.
They cute.
Woodsmen.
Yeah, the next couple episodes.
Ooh, and my socks.
Oh my gosh. Polar bears skiing with Christmas trees on their backs.
Oh, yeah.
Name
Have
a
you
better
ever
sock.
seen something more festive? I haven't.
Yeah, tell them about this.
Yeah, this was a gift for Christmas on our first. Was it our first?
We weren't even dating yet. It was the week you came into town, but you hadn't asked me to be your girlfriend
because
yet.
it was almost Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the week of Christmas.
Yeah. And so I knew how much she hated cats, which I hate cats too.
Yeah. We don't like
And
cats.
yeah, I got it for her because she hated cats so much, and we talked about ugly Christmas sweaters. So this is like years old, and we break it out once a year.
We don't actually wear it anywhere, though.
Yeah, I'm wearing it tomorrow.
Well, he's going to wear it tomorrow to a Christmas party, but that's going to be like the first time it's actually gone out of the house because you won't catch me in that.
Yeah,
Like
but
Christopher,
she wears it at home during Christmas at least like once a year. So
But I
she
have to
does wear it.
say-
I have pictures of her in it.
you do pull it off well.
Yeah.
If we lived in a colder state, you would pull off sweaters.
If I lived in a colder state, I would wear this every day.
Well, not this. Maybe not this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, this
think so.
exact one with the cats.
Oh.
I like this one with the beard. I don't know what type of
And the
cat.
Hawaiian shirts.
I don't know what type of cat that is because I know absolutely
So-
nothing about cats. I just know that I don't like them. They're... Anyways.
I think something that I realized about myself in Christmas is I enjoy the lead up to Christmas more than I enjoy Christmas Eve and Christmas
Nope.
Day.
I enjoy Christmas Day so much more.
I just love like the Christmas tree. We put our Christmas tree up, but it doesn't have any ornaments yet. We'll work on that. Maybe tonight.
Yeah.
I just love waking up, plugging in the Christmas tree every morning and every night, having Christmas music on all day, and it just like brightens your mood. But to me, Christmas Eve and Christmas Day are just kind of stressful.
Favorite Christmas tradition? Mine is baking a tree. And it has to be the perfect tree. Which, when we first got married, she could not care less about which tree that we picked.
No, I just want a tree.
But Jones tradition, now that she's a Jones, she's been a Jones for the last 3 years, we have to find the perfect tree. I don't care how long it takes, all night long, on a hunt for the perfect tree.
Okay, he literally like pulls a tree out of, they'll be like stacked
Yeah.
in a row. He'll pull it out. He'll rip the like, what is that stuff called? Tape stuff.
Yeah, just
And
whatever
string.
it's tied in.
He'll rip it open. He'll fluff it. He'll spin it. And then he'll make me spin it so he can look. And we'll do the same thing back and forth on the same tree 2-3 times. And then we'll go to the next tree and do it all over again.
And for all those of you who have fake trees, you're missing out. Big time.
You're missing out on the smell, especially.
Yeah, big time. Anyways, let's talk about our topic, which is postpartum.
Yeah, it's episode 8.
Yeah, her perspective, which is much more accurate because she's the one that actually went through it. But also my perspective from a guy's point of view,
Yeah.
who is looking on it from the outside and maybe has a little bit of a different perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just going to kind of tell my story. We're not really giving like advice or anything. If you're here, then we just kind of tell our stories on the podcast. So this is just my view, my perspective on postpartum, but I know everybody has different like experiences, and some people's postpartum journey is like traumatic. And then I have friends where it's like they didn't even go through postpartum. They're like just amazing. Like they heal so quickly, and it's really cool.
Super mom.
I would say that I'm like kind of in the middle, but lean more towards the traumatic.
I wouldn't
side.
call it traumatic.
Well, I'll kind of get into it, but okay. So basically, if you watch my birth story, you know that my epidural machine turned off as I began to push. So by the time I had Halston,
Forgot about that.
By the time I had Halston, like, I was not very numb at all. So they put her on me, we did the skin to skin, and then I nursed her, and we just kinda took a breather, and then I was up within, I don't know, I think it was like an hour and a half to 2 hours, right?
Yeah.
So we'll kinda, like, start from there. So, let's see. Do you remember the first time I went to the bathroom? Or
Y
is it all a blur?
You had a catheter in you.
Yeah, so I had a catheter because I had the epidural, but they took the catheter out, and then they said, "You need to get up and go to the bathroom," and I remember being like,
My
"What?"
legs don't work.
Not my legs don't work, I was like, "I literally just put a human out of my, how am I supposed to, like, walk right now?" But I did, I got up pretty smoothly, I'd say. I was nervous. I was like, when they told me to get out of bed, I remember being like, "I have no clue how painful this is gonna be, and I am terrified." But getting up wasn't actually that bad. I actually had a nurse tell me she thought I'd had multiple kids already because of the way I got up. I
Nice.
know how to get out of a bed and walk.
What? Good
And,
job, everyone clap.
I do remember though, remember I couldn't pee the first time. I sat on that dang toilet for so long.
Yeah, literally, I just hear, "Babe, I can't pee."
No. And the poor nurse had to, like, wait so that she could help me get off the toilet and all this stuff, and, like, you were just holding Halston, I think, like, spending time with her. So it's just me and the nurse, like, battling my bladder, and, it was tough. It was tough. So I couldn't pee, so she put me back in bed. We waited a little longer, and then I tried again, and I was able to do it.
Yeah, fast forward a year from that moment, she still couldn't pee.
Yeah, I
Word.
did it though. It took 2 tries, but it was a lot of, like, mental power. Like, I think that a lot of it was in my head because I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna hurt. Oh, I just had a baby. Oh, I just had a catheter." Like, so many things in my head. So I just had to kinda be like, "Okay, like, I know my body can pee. I just need to breathe and pee." Oh, side note, everybody talks about those Frida Mom Perry bottles, the thing that squirts the water up you while you're peeing. I did not like mine. I preferred the hospital bottle way more, and actually just got rid of my Perry bottle from Freedom Mom. That's only for, like, moms and pregnant people. It's like the rage. Everyone's like, "I have to have it." It's like $15 for a plastic bottle.
That's so much
It
money.
is just the hype thing. It is not actually better. I like the free hospital one. But, okay, so I peed. Another side note is don't bring pads, gels, bottles. Don't bring anything to the hospital because they gave it all to us for free.
Yeah, don't bring anything except, like, for
Yeah.
blankets and pillows
Yeah,
and clothes and
but all of the
stuff to brush your teeth
postpartum
with.
all the postpartum healing things, though, you don't have to bring, and I watched so many YouTube videos before, like, when I was pregnant to see what people pack, and everyone's, like, loading their bags with all this postpartum care stuff. I got to the hospital, and they're like, "You have everything here for free," and I was like, "Great."
Yeah.
So all that, and then let's just fast forward to the house. So, something that I regret is our rocking chair that we bought.
Oh,
Man,
man, I hate that rocking chair.
we cheaped out. Rocking chairs are like
Yeah.
$350, and we just didn't have that kind of money to be dropping on a rocking chair, and we thought it was just kinda silly, to be honest. Little did we know that cheaping out on a rocking chair would kick us in the butt.
No, literally, like, I didn't tell you, but I was in there rocking her even, like, 2 nights ago, and the arms, you know how you, like,
I see the dent.
dig in
I
them?
saw the dent today.
Literally, like, I don't know what they put in there, but,
It's so weird.
like, I'll put my arm and I'll, like, be holding her or something, and I'll rest, and it's like, "Bow," and my elbow, like, goes into the material, and something inside it breaks, and I did it along, like, because it was addicting at that point.
Oh,
I literally did it
no.
along the entire thing, but you can feel, like, the wood beams that go across. I don't know what's in the middle. It's probably, like, plaster or cardboard or I don't know, something.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
okay, so we got a super, super cheap, well, okay, it was still like $150, I think. But we got it off of Wayfair, and when we first got it, we were like, "This is great." Little did we know that when you put the footrest up, you cannot get it back down to
Oh,
save your life.
yeah.
You were literally punching it, like, with your foot, it like, full strength to get that stupid thing in. It
Literally,
makes me so
every single
mad.
time you were done nursing, "Babe, can you help me put my footrest in?"
Yeah, so but I am talking about this because when we first got home, that's what I wanted to sit in to nurse Halston. I wanted to put the footrest up
Mhm.
and sit back, and I had this little, like, cushion thing from the hospital. You can, like, order them online too, I've seen, where you, like, sit in it, and that way it protects the part where you push the baby out. I can't say these words online, I don't think. Part where you push the baby out from actually hitting, like, the cushion, because that would be very painful. So I'd sit in it and I'd nurse her, and then I'd literally crawl out of the chair with Halston as I literally am freshly, like, postpartum. It was the most painful thing, and then I'd crawl in the chair, crawl out, because I couldn't, like, push the seat
Yeah.
piece
It
in.
was genuinely hard,
It
like, she's not even
hurt.
messing around, like,
Yeah.
it literally takes you, like, getting on your knees, putting your hand on it, like, slamming it, like,
I
multiple
grab
times.
the arms with my hand, and then I push it with my foot really hard.
Yeah.
But it, like, I am telling you, that damaged me the first few days postpartum, like, I think that's why my stitches hurt so bad,
Severe
is
damage.
part of that. Like, I would literally jump into it with Halston. Like, it was a mess.
We should literally, like, write a review. If you have stitches, don't buy this don't buy this chair.
I still don't like the chair. I never put the footrest up because you just can't get it back
Yeah, I'd
down.
never
Um
that
But all that to say, it was painful. Just a funny side note. But I did tear on both sides, but I only got stitches on one side, and they healed after like 4 to 5 weeks, I would say. But I'm trying to
Yeah,
think.
but didn't you, like didn't it hurt for, like, a while? I felt like it was, like, a long time, like, months.
Well, so we can get into that. But do you have anything to share so far? Okay.
Well, yeah. In general, like, limitations, I think knowing your limitations. Like, for me to know your limitations and to know where I can help and where I can't help. So,
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I tore on both sides. I only got stitches on one side because the left side, the tear wasn't like big enough for stitches. And the stitches took about 4 to 5 weeks to heal. But I had a really hard time the first 5 weeks. I went to the OB 3 weeks in a row because I was in so much pain from my stitches, and the first time I went in, she was like, "I'm not really sure. I think you might have an infection in them, so let me put you on antibiotics." So we did that, but they still continued to hurt, so I just kept going back.
yeah, I feel like every time I texted you, "Hey, what's up? What's going on?" "Oh, I'm at the OB."
Yeah, and, like, he was at work by the time I started, like, going to the OB to check them.
Which actually was just downstairs from the OB
Yeah,
office.
but it was hard for me because Halston's breastfeeding all the time, and I am, like, trying to get her ready, trying to get in the car, trying to walk across the parking lot was even difficult, like, I was in so much pain. And I remember the first time, it was, like, traumatizing. I got to the OB, you were with me this time, and you had Halston, and you sat in the waiting room, and I was literally shuffling. Like, Christopher would, like, leave me in the desk and have to come back and wait for me in the parking
Yeah,
lot.
for all you husbands out there, if you wanna do your wife a favor, just buy a wheelchair.
No,
I'm just kidding. Don't do that.
just walk with me. Okay.
If you wanna maintain the speed, you buy a wheelchair and you just race her down the hall.
Okay. So, I get to the OB, and they're like, "Okay, just, like, get undressed and get on the table." Mind you, I can barely move my body because I was in so much pain, and I was bleeding. I bled pretty heavy for about 3 weeks, and then it lightened up.
Yeah.
So I'm bleeding
Our
heavy.
comforters are red now. They're just
Stop.
they're dyed red. No, I'm
No.
just kidding.
So I'm really uncomfortable. I'm bleeding, and now I have to get undressed, and I have to get on a high table all by myself. And it looked like I was a gymnast in a horrible way.
What?
I
That doesn't make any
just try
sense.
to picture me, like, sliding up this thing. Okay, so I get up
That's
there,
hilarious.
and
I
I'm
feel like
like,
they should have helped or something.
I know. Well, I get up there, and this OB comes in, and she's like, "Oh, my name is blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "I've never met you." And she's like, "Oh, yeah, I normally just deliver the babies. I actually haven't been in this office in, like, years."
I actually don't know what I'm doing.
She literally basically said, "I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm here. I normally deliver the
I've seen
babies."
babies get delivered before.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." So she was just like, "All right, let me just check on your stitches, see if I can help you." She's like, telling me to open my legs and stuff, and I was like, "I can't." And she's like, "You have to." And I was like arguing this woman, and before you know it, I'm in tears, laying on the table, and she's like poking and prodding, and she ends and she's like, I don't really know what I see there. I'm gonna have to get another OB that works in this office." I was so mad at her. I was like, "Why didn't you just give me the original OB in the first place?" So another OB comes in, which I had never met. Anyways, she comes in. The first thing this woman does is introduce herself and hand me a mirror. And I pushed
For
that mirror
what?
away so fast. And she's like, "No, you need to see what's going on down there. It'll make more sense." I was like, "You will not catch me dead looking down there until I'm fully healed. I don't need to look down there. I just can't do like blood, stitches, nothing." So she poked and prodded, and then she figured out what it was. But all that to say, traumatizing time. I was crying. It took a few weeks, and I had to
Mm.
prioritize resting. And I know we talked about our first 6 weeks in the last episode and how we had so many visitors. But for real, that was part of the reason I didn't heal quickly. Cause I remember I'd like be up, moving, like getting stuff, trying to pick up the house, like go, 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 and then my body would just, like, collapse on me.
I just remember it being really that's true. I guess it was kinda traumatizing for you, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I guess I don't know because we talked about it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess we didn't really go into, like, detail. I don't think
Of
you
what?
did, of that visit because I kinda remember you talking about it, but I feel like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was more of like a, "Oh, yeah, like, it was kinda hard to get up on the table, and then they checked, and then they
No,
didn't
I
know what it
totally told you the
was."
story.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Really? Anyways, for me,
I
and
really
we
like corn.
I really like corn. For me, I think that, like, as a husband and new dad, that it's so important for you to, like, tell me what's going on and to describe moments like that and to tell me when you need help. Because when we first got home from the hospital, which I think we also said in the last episode too, I was at least trying to do, like, a lot for you for the first 2 weeks, but it helps so much more when I hear it from you, and I think when guys hear it from their wives postpartum as far as, like, what they need, and I think to hear it from your perspective so we can, like, sympathize and understand, because I
Yeah.
don't think that, like, we initially understand, because I think that like, you in particular try to be like Superwoman sometimes, and I feel like a lot of the times I'm like, "Tell me what you need."
Yeah, I kinda just try to do it myself,
Yeah,
whatever it
and
is.
then it's to the point where, like, you start getting really, really, really sad, and then we have to have a whole discussion about it, and I'm like, "I didn't even know any of this was going on,"
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and there's that aspect of I've been hearing this a lot lately where I was the one that was pregnant. I felt the baby kick. I felt the baby grow. I felt my body changing, getting ready for like feeding her and everything, right? But you didn't feel anything that whole time. So I was like able to get prepared. That's what everybody says. Like the mom's already preparing, but then the dad is like preparing, but you're not feeling any of it. So it's a different kind of preparation. And then boom, the baby's here. And it's like rocks the dad's world. It rocks the mom's, but the mom, like, that baby was inside me. So, like, for me, it's more like, okay, baby's here, but I already had the baby, you know? Like,
Mhm.
baby was in me and I was already connecting. But, like, you're like, oh, like, the baby's here now. Like, now is my time to, like, really connect. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, it's like baby's here, but we can connect a lot, but ultimately, baby screams, "What does the baby want? Food." So, your food, so I give it to
But
you.
yeah, I just mean like, but you had like an initial shock and it was like, you were probably just trying to process like that she was here, where I'm like in a whole different mindset
She's been with me this whole time.
of like, well, I think it's just more natural for the mom because they carry the baby, which would be expected. But I'm trying to heal and like focusing on myself a lot, where you're just like, oh my gosh, like my wife like is trying to heal from pushing out a baby, and I have a newborn baby here.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think that
it's a lot.
I think that it was a lot at
Yeah.
first. And I think at first, who did I tell? I told somebody. I was like, you were doing this whole thing. I was doing my work and then school and trying to take care of the baby, and you were obviously too. But I told someone, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Because it was just like, it was a lot of work. And
Yeah.
I only had 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
I think that if I had more paid time off, I think that I could have taken more time, which I would have preferred. But I literally had 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that drained like everything that I had. Like even like injury leave and injury leave, holiday pay, sick time, and my normal, like, just if I ever want to take time off, like everything. If I ever wanted to take time off, like right after that, we would have just been losing money at that point.
Yeah.
So I didn't really have much of a choice. But yeah, it was a lot of work.
Yeah, and like when you said that the wife needs to be communicating with the husband like what they need, I think that like on the wife side though, we need to be empathetic in the way of like you just had like one of the biggest life changes ever, and you're like trying to help me, and you're trying to help the baby, and you're trying to get used to the baby, and you can't feed the baby, and it's just like a lot of emotions and like just mental and emotional stress and just change.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to be like pounding you and being like, well, you didn't give birth to the baby, so you're my servant. Like, I'm not going to do that because it's a lot for you too,
Anything for you, master.
But I just like, I don't think that the wife has the authority or should be like, I need to do this, 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 and this. And like, there's no room for emotions with you. Like, I'm the one that's going through it all because no, you're going
Yeah.
through a lot too. So that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's just general like relationship advice as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think on top of that, there's, Halston spit up constantly
she
every
did.
10 minutes. So that was like, honestly, that brought a lot of extra work. I feel like on top of everything else,
Yeah.
not only were we doing like 17 loads of laundry a day, but we had, remember those spit up pads?
Yeah.
And then, she had the sheet, then she had the bassinet or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we would just change the spit up pad every time she spit up. She would go through them all.
Yep.
And
We did
then
laundry
we
every
had to
single
like
day.
get up, when we were trying to put her down, we'd have to wash laundry, or we would have to find something. It was just like I feel like a lot of extra steps.
It was a
Where
lot.
other people, like, I mean, they bring one change of clothes and that's it.
It was
We were like
so overwhelming.
packing like multiple like changes of clothes. Like anywhere we went, we had like 15 shirts because she would spit up over all of them by the time we were done.
I think it was less than 10 minutes. I felt like it was every 5 minutes, and it would projectile. Like, and she didn't even have acid reflux
we're
or
like
anything.
dodging
It was.
spit up.
I can't tell you how many videos I have of you holding her and she spits up on you.
Or just pictures of her with spit up on herself.
Yeah,
Which
or
is
like
like-
laying in her crib and there's spit up, and I'm trying to take a cute video, and she rolls over and there's a puddle, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Oh, that reminds me. One of the things, I think it's kind of a newborn thing, but more, not really postpartum. It's just in that area of like after the baby, like initially after the baby was born for the last couple weeks, which I already told you about. When my friends were like, oh, bro, having a baby is like, it's awesome. They just sleep all day long. You don't have to do anything. And just play video games all day, right? Which, at that time I wasn't really like totally into video games or anything. That's not the case. And I felt like Halston was a really good routine baby.
Yeah.
Like, she didn't like cry all night long ever. She didn't like cry all day.
She's a great baby.
Great baby. A lot more work than I thought it would have been.
I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't know what your friends are talking
she's a
about.
lot more work now than she used to be, just because I feel like she has more needs,
She's way more work now.
way more work now.
Yeah.
But that also brings me to the other thing that we were talking about, which was like initially postpartum, when I had to go back to work, I never felt like I was leaving you with too much work than you could handle. But I think you had how many months off?
It's 6 weeks off.
Was it just 6 weeks? That's brutal. But like right now, when I go to work, I'm like,
Yeah, we were talking about this last night.
I hope Halston, like, you know, I hope Halston doesn't have like a whole bunch of tantrums, or like, I hope she plays really well by herself.
And
But when I
that'll
was going to work
change, but
before, I was like, oh, she's probably gonna have so much fun today with the
yeah.
baby. They're probably gonna like, she's probably gonna hang out, feed her. She didn't even really cry a whole lot. Like, if you gave her everything she needed, she was fine.
Yeah, we
And
were
I was
very
like,
lucky.
they're probably just gonna hang out. She's gonna, be awake for an hour and a half, then be asleep for 45 minutes, and then, routine starts over and over again. But now it's a very different story, I think. But
Yeah, if you're listening still, thank you. And if you're on YouTube, you should leave in the comments what kind of baby you had. Like easy baby, colicky baby, gassy baby, spit up baby. We had an easy and spit up baby. It made it
yeah,
harder, but Halston herself was an easy baby. We were so
hmm
blessed.
yeah, I'm kind of frightened that our next one is gonna be like a little tiny terror.
I'm actually so excited because everybody says that every single baby is completely different. Like you have to treat every baby differently that you have.
You
And
could
so
have a
like
non-spit up
I'm
baby.
so ready for well, I'm not ready to have a baby, but
Spit up
I'm ready
free
for the
experience.
challenge. Yeah, spit up free experience. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
But all that to say, like with her being an easy baby and like you going to work and not being worried about me, it's because I loved the newborn stage. Like when I dreamed of being a mom, like I could not wait for the newborn stage. But I also did not have baby blues. I didn't have postpartum anxiety and I didn't have postpartum depression. So I just was very blessed in that way. And once again, that is not the case for a lot of people. So yeah, because that's part of postpartum. So I didn't have those things. Just wanted to throw that in there, I guess.
But all I know is that one thing that I feel like a lot of guys want to know is how long after postpartum were things getting down in the bedroom again.
Well, we kind of mentioned this last episode.
And it was 3 months
Yeah.
for us,
Yeah.
which is a long time.
Now let's talk about why it was 3 months because I've like covered some of the like healing journey, but there's more, unfortunately. So I go to the OB 3 times. It's 5 weeks for the stitches. So I get the stitches figured out. I kid you not. I think it was like the same week that my stitches were fully like healing and I didn't have the irritation anymore. All of a sudden it started hurting when I was peeing. That was hell.
Listen,
You know it was, and you weren't even the one peeing.
because I had to hear about
I
it every time you would go to
exactly.
the restroom.
Guys, I cannot stress how painful it was. It was worse than anything else, worse than pushing, worse than oh my goodness.
You probably just had like a long-term UTI or something.
No, they checked me twice for UTIs. And I kept going to the OB. So this is after the stitches. I kept going in
Mhm.
and she kept running tests. And her conclusion was, I've never had this happen to a patient before.
Mental. I'm telling you, it was mental.
It was not mental.
No,
That's
I
not
know,
very
but like,
nice.
if there was nothing going on.
No, she said, I've
Yeah.
never had this happen to a patient before. I think you have trauma down there. I was like, what?
Trauma.
And
Yeah.
so it must have been something with the catheter and then pushing her out, but something was like internally wrong. And she said I could go to like a specialist, and I was like, I'm not doing that. But every single time I peed, I would jump up in pain. Like it hurt to pee. I didn't want to pee, but you're breastfeeding, so you're drinking a lot of water. It was really, really, really hard. When I think back to postpartum, that's what I think of. Like it was tough. Okay, last thing is kind of funny. I would say
Oh no,
something
I'm
that
nervous.
I didn't expect, and I don't think anyone really told me about. It was the night sweat, the extreme midnight hunger, and the horrid BO. I think those were my
I
things.
don't really remember that, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, I'm
I
so
remember the
glad.
ravenous appetite
And
to
the
eat anything in
hormones.
sight.
Okay, so night sweats. Let's talk about that real quick. I would like wake up soaking wet and I had to change my shirt and stuff. I
I do remember
can't
that.
believe. Okay, I
I
was
do
gonna say,
remember that.
can't believe you don't remember that. The
Yeah.
most random thing.
I
It's
don't
gotta be
remember it
my
well.
hormones. I don't know why night sweats are a thing. It must be your hormones. But yeah, I had crazy night sweats for a few weeks and I did not have like bad BO before I had a baby, I would say. But man, if I sweat one little drop now, I stink. And I was like,
I don't
oh,
think so.
I'm talking about myself here. I don't need your opinion. And I was like, oh, that's definitely hormones. And I was like, oh, this will go away within a few months. Year and a half later, it has not gone away. And moms that I talk to say the same thing. It has not gone away if they had it. But then I have other friends where they never even got the BO thing. So I'm really sad about it because
Mm.
I don't think I really had bad BO before.
I
Maybe.
still don't think you do.
Oh, I do. Trust me. I will literally go wash my armpits in the sink to get rid of the smell because it'll be so bad. Just so you all, in case you want to know about that. Mom life. Mom life. Yeah. Okay. So night sweats, BO, and then hormones. Oh my gosh, my hormones were just like all the time. It was
What
wild.
were they like?
I was so emotional and so happy, and then I'd be sad, and then I'd be lonely, and then I'd be overwhelmed, and then I'd be happy. But all that to say, oh, and the extreme hunger. I have to do that real quick.
And I'm over here
Do you
cruising.
remember the Cliff Bars?
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought I wanted the Cliff
Every
Bars.
night didn't go to bed till like, oh my gosh,
That's pretty weird.
midnight or 1 a.m. Those first couple weeks. Every night I'd grab a giant water and a Cliff Bar, and that's what I would eat at like 3 a.m. I just wake up. I could eat a full course meal if Christopher had made it for me. So hungry. I just had like wrappers everywhere, remember? Sometimes I'd eat more than one
And
too.
she hates on me when I'm sick for eating crackers in bed.
That is two completely different things. But yeah, so that's kind of like how postpartum went for us. But overall, like at least for me, I would say I loved like the newborn stage and I really did have it pretty good with postpartum besides the whole issue down there.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just full of a lot of like joy and baby snuggles. And I do look forward to the next time
Yeah.
I'm in postpartum.
And I
so.
think that if that's something that you're coming up to, especially for a guy, just be patient. It's a fun journey and it's always a different journey each time. So
Yeah.
I think just be patient and just look after each other and be patient with each other, especially.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah.